One. Hello, Cardinal fans. Jared, Larry, and Chris here on Cardinals Nation 24/7. We just finished our podcast where we were discussing the recap of the Arenado trade and Wong to the Brewers and Yachty re-signing. And as soon as we ended and we were discussing and wrapping up amongst ourselves, we've gotten an alert on our phones. Chris, what's the big news?
The breaking news was that Dexter Fowler had been traded from St. Louis Cardinals to the Angels. And while at first, everything was kind of not clear on what the trade was, you just had looked that up and it'd be for a player to be named later. So looks like a salary dump, but kind of wild that Fowler waived the no trade clause, and be interesting to see what to make of all this.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts because he did have a no trade clause as well, and $14.5 million. Official from the Angels site says the Angels have announced it. Official, the Angels have acquired outfielder Dexter Fowler and cash considerations from the St. Louis Cardinals. Larry, what's your take on this move? We didn't see it coming. What do you think the motive is behind it?
Well, first, I think, the free up, we've got that log jam in the outfield that our show that people will tune in after this and watch or listen to. We discussed the log jam in the outfield. This kind of frees up that spot for one of our other players to move in. But this reunites him with Madden from his days with the Cubs, so that works out. So yeah, I think, like you said, frees more money.
Yeah, the Angels were apparently looking for a corner outfielder all this offseason, and then looks like they found their man. So going back to our question we had earlier, too, about Fowler being in the outfield, that's going to free up some money for us, and that's going to give playing time. I see Carlson now sliding into a permanent right field position, and maybe that makes way for Bader to play center field. Chris, where do you think this trade opens up? Who's going to be the biggest benefactor of Fowler going to the Angels?
Well, I know after the show that we, just discussed that, somebody had asked, about Fowler and, where he would start the season at. And obviously we didn't think anything about him potentially being traded. So we had him locked in. I think it for sure puts Carlson in right. I think O'Neill will have left field and Bader will be your center fielder. And now with, you got Lane Thomas that I don't think necessarily is the odd man out now. He'll have some options and what you said too about Tommy Edman getting some spots. So, but I like the young guns in the outfield. I think that's a pretty speedy and defensively strong outfield now.
Yeah, apparently the Cardinals are going to be sending some money along with him because the Angels aren't going to pay $14.5 million. But either way, it's a salary dump. The Cardinals are going to save even more money. Maybe this creates an opportunity to make a move elsewhere. We don't even know. But I mean, Larry, you got to figure at some point in time, they keep talking about the young outfielders we have. At some point in time, you have to let them play right and see what you have. I mean, sounds like a perfect opportunity for Carlson, Bader, and O'Neill to show us what they got. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, we stockpiled starting pitching for years and years and years, and we've seen them come to fruition. And now it's time for those outfielders it's time to start producing or move down the road. I mean, Bader and O'Neill, the two guys, we got to see them play. If they don't play, we never know what we have. And so, like we said earlier, Williams, we've got Dean, we've got Thomas, you've got Bader and O'Neill. I mean, there's got to, eventually somebody's got to produce, and those that don't are looking for a new home in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, what do you think? I mean, it's got to be kind of one of the situations to where you talk about all the young talent and all this young outfield, and Rosarena didn't get a chance to play. And last year, we're tough on Bader because we've seen enough of him to get enough at bats out of a year. But, half of a season here, half a season there, COVID comes in. You would think this year with freeing up this space and money with Fowler being gone, you can actually plug those guys in and give them a chance to sink or swim. I mean, you really have to run a guy out there consistently for a couple months, let him get in the groove of things, get some consistent at bats. I mean, and this opens up, like we were talking about, Lane Thomas and Williams can still be on the roster and kind of frees up. What do you see? I mean, do you see the young guy, Bader and O'Neill, is this their opportunity now? I mean, you got to figure Carlson's going to start every day. He's done with the minor leagues. I mean, so we see this at, I mean, Carp's probably going to play, but this gives him benefit, but there's one less guaranteed at bats you have to give out.
Yeah, I know we touched on all this on the show that we just got done recording, and it's it's kind of hard to say too, because like we were mentioning that the Cardinals were in on Jock Peterson, and he signed for what, $7 or $8 million for the Cubs. Uh, for us to be in on him before Arenado and before sending Fowler away, that makes me a little leery on how confident we are in what we do have. And then with the fans speculating about Ozuna, and I'm not saying this opens up that window, but who knows? I mean, it could also mean, hey, we're freeing up a spot. We're going to sign Ozuna, and we're going to have that power threat. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, it sounds like as more of it's trickling in, as we're still catching up. It sounds like the Cardinals are going to pay the bulk of Fowler's $14 million contract this year, and the Angels will send a player to be named later or cash considerations back, which you can't see being too much. So, 40-man roster spot can be worth quite a bit. And then again, like you said, it gives an opportunity to make a move somewhere or add an additional player to the roster that we were losing before, because the Gomber Arenado trade was an even swap. Nobody else was on the 40-man. Fowler to the Angels, we definitely didn't see it coming.
I guess the joke now is, it's in the cards and Mosby dealing. So
yeah, he said he wasn't done yet. I guess we'll see what happens next. John Morosi now, several people are reporting that the deal is official. It's a done deal. He's gone. So Fowler did have a no trade clause for everyone that didn't know. So he obviously had to have been approached with this deal and sign off on it. No idea yet how much money the Cardinals are going to be on the hook for, or if Fowler wanted something else thrown in additionally, but he probably also wanted to realize this is his last year. He's probably not going to be a Cardinal. Maybe he can make something happen and parlay this into another deal with LA, or get an idea of what the West Coast looks like if he wants to continue to try to play after this year.
The MLB site just popped up, and it actually says it's a player to be named later or cash consideration. So
yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry. I just thought you meant we are sending them money. So
well, we're paying most if they don't if we don't get a player back, then they'll send us cash.
Right. So
which would probably be like $400,000 or something. Maybe it would be
whatever minor league value is.
Yeah, I didn't see. So the reuniting of Fowler and Arenado from Colorado didn't last very long, did it, Chris?
No, and Fowler's a Vegas. He lives in Las Vegas. Maybe that has something to do with why he'd be willing to lift the no trade clause. But again, this could open up a Ozuna reunion, or possibly one of these pitchers that were rumored to be in on. Maybe that, I don't know. It's just kind of too many questions unanswered at this moment.
And so we can trade for Ramirez and move Edman to the outfield. That's the reason right there.
That would not hurt my feelings.
There you go. Well, and on the 40-man roster now, with Fowler being traded, that actually puts us to 36. I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah.
So you figure Molina re-signing puts us at 37, and we have 5 outfielders on the 40-man roster now. That's Bader, Carlson, O'Neill, Thomas, and Williams, the same guys we just discussed on the actual podcast a moment ago. And open to be Dylan Carlson's turf is right field. I mean, we figured he was going to be our right fielder anyways. That looks like that's going to be his permanent spot where he's going to be able to call home for probably several years to come, would be my guess. I guess that's pretty much it, unless you guys have anything you guys want to throw in. It looks like the trade's official. It's a done deal. Fowler, we're getting rid of a spot and paying most of the salary. Maybe we'll get something later, maybe not.
Yeah, this is it's wild. I mean, breaking news, and it couldn't have come at a better kind of time than us finishing up the last show, and it was just like, wow, is this real? So I guess Mo wasn't lying when he said that he wasn't done making moves. So this one kind of took us all off guard.
And it was one of our topics of the podcast. Maybe he's still not done. Maybe this will lead to more. Maybe we'll do some more bonuses to come after this.
Yeah. Just remember the last time we got a toss-in player, the guy named David Freese.
David Freese, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, I've heard it somewhere. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think he had a good year. I think.
At least a good series.
Yeah, if you like what you hear and you see, please like and subscribe to your friends. comment on what you would like to see more of. And other than that, I guess this bonus episode we're out.
We're out. Go Cards.
Yeah,
Cards.
go Cards.